Hi, Caroline. I'm just going to run through the menu options for Computer Systems Assessment 1 just to show them all working. So the initial script here just brings up a little introduction and then the 5 options. So we start with add record. Basically all the entry here has validation checks just to make sure that the user isn't leaving them blank or doing something like trying to put in a species with numbers or something in the name. Error code, it'll check that it's a certain length and that it doesn't have any spaces and that it starts with a letter followed by a number. So if we put something in for that. Date, similarly again, that it's actually following a certain format. And the same with the email address. Should be following a format, so if it wasn't following with the @ sign and stuff like that, it would ask the user to enter it again. I'll just put in the actual email address here. So we'll get prompted to add it, so we'll say yes for that. And then you can go back to the main menu. So we can look now at deleting a record. So I just added in kind of a little sub menu just to give the user the options, just so you can say delete a specific record here. So in this case, it will bring up all the individual records of the database. And then the user can pick the number that they want to delete. So say if I said 24, first of all, it will say 24 doesn't exist. But if we just said 1 here, it'll prompt it. We can delete that and say, do you want to remove another? We look again, you can see the original one that was first in the list last time is gone. So we'll delete number 4 this time. Say yes. And we can go back. So that was deleting just an individual. You can also delete multiple records. So in this case, it's giving you all the individual species and locations that are in the database. So say if we pick out one that has a few records, it'll tell you all the ones that exist, and you can decide then to delete all them one go or not. So in this case, we'll say no. And we'll say we'll go back to the main menu again. So I also added in just a little section to it, just because the deleting multiple records is basically just moving the records into another file. I added a little thing there just to say if the user wanted to undo that. So basically it's kind of doing the exact opposite. It's looking at the file and saying this is what you previously deleted, and do you want to actually put that back into species detail? Because it was just kind of the exact opposite of what the deleting was doing. So in this case, we'll just go back to the main menu. We'll look at searching now. So the user's getting asked if they want to show a full list of everything that's there before they get more information. So again, we have records for all those kind of species. So if we say one with multiple, it'll tell you the full details, so including date and email address. It'll tell you the total number, and then it'll just give you the one with the species and the specific locations that they were seeing. And so we'll say we just want to go back to the menu. And this one as well, actually, if you actually try and search for something, say that doesn't exist, it'll prompt you there to go and add it if you wanted, or if not, you can just go back to the menu again. So we'll just go back. Menu number 4 then is for emailing users. So again, just a little sub menu, and then the user can go and email specific. So this again is pulling out the full list of users there, unique email addresses that exist, and we can just pick, say, the first one there on it. It'll prompt, do you want to email them or not? So I'll say yes. So that's been tested and it is working okay. Like, it sends out an email with a subject and a little kind of body or whatever in it. It's actually getting delivered to the email addresses that I've used anyway. So in this case, I'll go back to the menu. Go back to email again, and we'll say this time we want to email everyone in the database. So it's going to bring up all of the email addresses that exist. That's looping through, kind of listing them out. And you can say again, do you want to email everyone here or not? So we'll say no, we don't want to actually do that. And you'll see it's kind of color coded as well, just to show that the users haven't actually been emailed there. So again, we can go back to the main menu. And this time we'll just exit out of it altogether instead. So that part actually wasn't working for me. Okay, so it's worked that time. So I'll have a quick look through the code now for you in some of these scripts. So basically, I started with the menu, which was giving the user the initial options to go to further scripts here. So to either add, remove, search, or email, or obviously exit if they wanted. Within the scripts, I kind of broke them down a small bit further, just on some of them, not for the admin, but on some of them, I just kind of put in little submenus to direct the user further down if need be. So this was the add record, which is basically follow an account to make sure that there's 4 inputs going in from the user. And throughout that, then obviously it's doing the validation check. So they're saying to check that it's not blank what the user has entered, or to check that, in this case, a species name that doesn't contain any numbers. Once that's followed through, then it'll add on to the account and it'll kind of continue on to the next section. Similar with error codes, we added these kind of regular expression checks just to see that starts with a letter, follows a number and stuff like that. And if not, it'll prompt in kind of red. That's something I added actually throughout it. So I kind of found color codes online and just defined them in the scripts. And then I've added them here and kind of reset it here, just to kind of add a bit of color, I suppose, to kind of give an indication of, you know, maybe warnings or confirmations required, or, you know, if something's been done, then it'll come up green, stuff like that. So here again, date, similar stuff, and the email address again, similar with the regular expression. And then most of them kind of end with this loop back through again. So it's again giving the user the option at the end. Well, where do you want to go? Do you want to add another, or do you want to go back to the menu? So that's add. Second one there was remove, say. It's kind of here, like within the first script, it's kind of just formatting the bit and then directing them either to remove a single or remove multiple, or as we were saying there, just to kind of undo it if they wanted to do that. So I think probably the multiple one is the more detailed one maybe to see. So this one is listing the species, listing the locations, taking the response and looking to make sure that actually does, like there is actually a valid kind of response from what the user's input. And then basically this is the process of saying, so it's kind of taking out the response, taking out the species detail, just moving it then into another record, and then it's resaving species detail, basically making it a temporary file first and then actually saving it to be called the original name species detail, and again looping back around. Someone else asking questions on it. So buyer search there is again kind of similar again. So like in this case, they're saying you want to see everything first, and then you can select that if you wanted to list it out, or you can just skip straight ahead to entering it if you're putting in something then that doesn't exist. There was an option that I put in it just to say, would you like to add it? And you can go then to add or search again or menu again. Here it's just looking to see was the response actually there, and it's just making sure the output doesn't get shown, so it's going into dev null. These are just greps again going into awk, kind of pipe through to print out just only the columns we wanted to see. I think the final one then is the email. So again, email itself was a kind of sub menu almost. Record is single or all. I think that for your email, all is more interesting one because it just has, in that case, you just actually kind of stored all the unique addresses in a variable here, users, and then it's had to loop through users to show them all first of all before getting the confirmation, and then when the confirmation is received from the user, it'll go through this second loop here to mail them whatever the subject is, and then it's taken. I just wrote a small file, like a sample text, sample email, just to take the body of the email and get sent out to the user. Again, they all end with that similar prompt. So the other files were just really just storage files for kind of different things. So as I said, the deleted records, or the body of the email, or the user's email addresses and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that covers everything really. And yeah, it was an interesting project, and thanks very much. Again, thanks.